So let's try to simplify this expression. So what we have here are radicals, and we can actually see that this is a fraction. There's a numerator and then there's a denominator. Okay? So first of all, let's do a very quick review of the principles that we're going to be working with. So if you take a look at what we have right here, okay? First take a look at the square root of 12, okay? So what this is a radical, and it is the same thing as the square root of 3 multiplied by the square root of 4. This is also the same thing as the square root of 6 multiplied by the square root of 2. In other words, we can break down these radicals by finding factors of the numbers underneath the radical sign. Okay? So keep that principle in mind. And what we also want to keep in mind here is that we have to keep an eye out for the main principle of fractions where we can reduce, you want to reduce. Our instruction is to simplify. All right. Having said that, let's go. So I can see that 3 square root of 27 is the same thing as 3 square root of 9 square root of 3, because 9 times 3 is 27, plus 6 square root of 4 square root of 3. So square root of 4 square root of 3 is square root of 12. Okay? And if you look at the denominator, what I'm going to recognize here is that this is the square root of 9 times the square root of 12. Now again, I could have chosen other numbers here, factors of 108, but I chose 9 because that's a perfect square. What do I mean by that? Well, so this becomes 3 multiplied by the square root of 9, which is 3, square root of 3, plus 6 multiplied by 2, which is the square root of 4, multiplied by the square root of 3. And this is all divided by 3 multiplied by the square root of 12. Because the square root of 9 is 3. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to factor out a 3 from the numerator. So if I factor the 3 from the numerator, then I'm left with 3 square root of 3. So I factored out a 3 from this, plus 4 square root of 3. And this is all divided by 3 multiplied by the square root of 12. Now, what you want to do here is you want to pause the video right quick and make sure you got the same thing when you did the factoring. That's very important. And let me break down one of them for you. Okay? So if we take a look at 6 times 2, that is 12 square root of 3. So if I factored out a 3 from here, I would left with 3 multiplied by 4 square root of 3, which is what I have here, because I factored out a 3. Okay? So you want to make sure that you get the same things I got when you factored out a 3. Now, once you do that, we can then cancel these. Okay? Because what we have here is a one number at the top, one number at the bottom. 3 multiplied by this is a number. This is a product. 3 multiplied by square root of 12 is a number. That's a product. Okay? So it's kind of like if we had A multiplied by C divided by A multiplied by, let's say, F. We could then cancel out the A's and we're left with the C over F, which is where we are right now. Okay? So let's proceed. And so now what we have is 3 square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 3 divided by 2 square root of 3. Now, how did I get 2 square root of 3? Again, you want to pause the video, okay, and focus right here, the square root of 12. So the square root of 12 is the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 3. And the square root of 4 is 2. So I get 2 square root of 3. So that's how I got right here 2 square root of 3. All right, so let's proceed. We're going to do another factoring now because I notice that everything here has square root of 3 in it. So I can factor out a square root of 3. Okay, so let me make some space. Let me make some space. Pardon me. Make some space here and pick it up from here. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to factor out square root of 3. So now I have square root of 3. And we're working on the numerator first. So I'm left with just 3. If I factor the square root of 3 from here, I'm left with just 3. And here I'm left with 4. So there's a plus sign in between. And in the denominator, if I factor the square root of 3, I'm left with 2. Now, of course, we know what to do here. These cancel. And I'm left with 7 over 2 as my final answer. This problem has been simplified. So what you want to do is you want to replay the video, make sure it makes sense to you. If you have questions, comments, if I made an error somewhere, anything along those lines. If you'd like to see more problems like this, just let me know in the comments. I'll be glad to help you out in that regards. If you realize when you're working these problems, most of the time it's because I'm working with a student or a set of students to solve a problem, and I realize, hey, this might be a common issue. And so I go ahead and create a video to help those students and anybody else. So if you think this could help somebody else, let them see it. You may also recognize when you're doing this, you know what, I have issues and I need to work out before I get to this point, like handling radicals in general. Go through the videos that I have on here to see if something is there that can help you. And if it's not, leave a comment. Maybe I can create a video for you. Okay? Again, like, definitely share and subscribe so you can get videos like this and others. Thank you.